Start with why. In your selection criteria response, you always want to start with why at the very top. And I'm not talking about why as in, why do you want to be a leader? I'm talking about why did you have this leadership opportunity? Why was there a problem that needed to be fixed? And that big why is really important for somebody coming into your story brand new. Hi, I'm Michelle Davis and I'm a teacher career coach. I help teachers who want to be school leaders make that leadership journey and that transition into those roles so they can make the impact they know they want to. Now, Simon Sinek put into our vocabulary Start With Why with his wonderful book, and that was all about bringing people on board by understanding and having a common shared why. And rather than it being about what they exist for, why do they exist in the first place? So for you, it's why does this leadership story exist in the first place? What was the purpose to your actions? So that it really links into you aren't just a problem solver who does things with no reason at all, that you're actually a problem solver who has a purpose and can find holes and fill them. And in leadership, we want to be doing that. We want to be responding to the information that we have to make the impact that we need to be making for our students. And so start with why. When you do start with why, when we use the STAR model, which is a common way of being able to structure your selection criteria stories, that S is your situation, so the scenario. And that's just the perfect place to show off what the why is for this leadership story that you're about to tell them all about. And so in this why, you can be talking about things like why was this urgent to be solved? Like, what was the urgency behind it? What was the data that was saying this was a problem? Why was it important to do now? Like, obviously not now being right this very second, but why is this important now for your school? What brought about this urgency all of a sudden? How does that align with the big why of the national priorities or your school's priorities? Why is this the thing that you needed to be solved? And maybe it aligns with your state and the nation as well. And how does it link in with your school's AIP? And so when you've got all these aspects of your why, and so now that you've got all these aspects of the why, it's really important to put those together and show them off in that situation. A common thing that I've had is that people say, well, it wasn't my idea. I didn't come up with this solution. I was brought on board much later on into the decision, or I was brought on board after the decision was made that this needs to become a priority for the school. So I can't claim it as my why. Yes, you can. You totally can. And so there's some specific ways that you want to be doing that. Because as a new leader, the people on the panel, when you're applying for a head of department job, they know you've been a teacher. They can see that in your resume. They can see that you've been making some steps towards leadership. They know that you were probably tapped on the shoulder and asked to do this. They know that because that's how it works. A teacher doesn't randomly just want to jump up one day and go, take this and this and this and do this thing. And I found this big hole because I've been analyzing all the depth of data that is in our school and I know all the answers. It's not going to happen unless you're in the room with those conversations happening at the time. It probably wasn't your idea, but it's going to be your story because you've been doing the things. So keep that in mind. They know that it wasn't necessarily your idea, but that's okay. In schools, there is probably an equal share, not even a whole equal share. There's probably a balance of things that were identified by leadership as a priority versus a staff member identifying it as a priority and then going about and filling it. There's not an even share in there, and you can bring things to their notice, but they still have to approve it for you to be able to move this forward. So the fact that you didn't come up with the idea should not stop you. You just need to know the piece of the puzzle that you're solving. How does it fit in? And you need to know those previous things about what is the reason that you're doing what you're doing. What is the big why? And you need to have that as a foundation so that your story can flow. Otherwise, it looks like you're doing somebody else's busy work and you were just given a task to do. which it starts out, but then you end up bringing people on board. So don't downplay the fact that you were chosen to do something or that you were implementing something, okay? And so when you're doing this, you want to be claiming it, you want to be owning it, and don't want to start off with, I was asked to develop blah, 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 because you are throwing away your power. I was asked to does not put you in a position where you were the person chosen out of everybody in the school. This was your thing. And so starting off with things such as during a review of X, it was decided that Y, I was brought on early in the early stages of planning. As an integral or foundation member of a committee, I was responsible for as part of a plan to solve X, I was responsible for Y. As a teacher stepping out of the classroom, you're not often in a position where you are the one coming up with the thing and doing it all. You're often part of a team. And so within that team, you did this thing, but it was with other people that you brought on board. That still counts as you leading a group of people, which is quite frankly where we all start out. We all start out with something small, okay? So in your opening why, make sure it is compelling. There is a sense of urgency. There is a noticing of the data and the hole that needs to be filled. You are then going to use that in your situation of your STAR model. And there's a video I'll link below and on this YouTube channel and also over on my blog, brilliantbrainscoaching.com.au, where it goes through each of the stages of that STAR model. And for this one, I just wanted to focus on that why and really dig down and what to do if you weren't the person who came up with the idea. I've been Michelle Davis, and I hope to help you in some way on your leadership journey. Thanks.